Welcome to the Annapolis Valley, one of the most popular road trips in Nova Scotia. I'm loving this place, it's so romantic. We're Matt and Karla, a Canadian couple with two totally different backgrounds, sharing our experience and advice about traveling in Canada.
After almost a decade of world travel, we decided to focus on our home country of Canada and see how deep we could go.
This started with a 150-day road trip from coast to coast to coast, showcasing some of the best things to do in each province and territory.
We thought we'd see it all on that road trip, but we barely scratched the surface. So follow along as we continue to explore the second largest country on Earth. To start things off, we're here in the Grand Pré region, and we came up to the Grand Pré View Park because this offers one of the most iconic images of this entire area. And it's where you'll learn about and see the Acadian agriculture that started here in the 1700s and is part of the reason why this is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So the Grand Pré region is home of the Acadian people. Now we've heard this term throughout the Maritimes and we weren't really quite sure who were the Acadians, and it turns out most of them were from a French background that came here in the 1600s. Not all of them were French, there were some from other European nations, but most of them were, and they basically settled here in this region and turned it into a thriving community. Other than the interpretive center, the other building that's included with your admission is the church. It's right behind me. It was made in 1922 by the Acadians as a memorial to their homeland because in the 1700s they were forcibly removed by the British during the war with France. So they were kicked out of here and they burnt everything down. So it's really great that they've actually established this as a National Historic Site where you can learn all about it.
I'm glad that we came here first because it gives you a great insight about the history of this area, and the grounds are super beautiful to walk around, and they're actually free because you only pay to go inside the buildings. Well, we made it to our first accommodation during this road trip. We're staying at Domaine de Grand Pré. So not only you can stay here, but it's also a restaurant and a winery. And we're now heading out for some wine tasting.
The Annapolis Valley is quickly becoming known as wine country, and this is actually one of the oldest wineries in the province. So after taking a short tour around the vineyards to learn about the different kinds of grapes they grow here, now we get to try some. Well, everything looked pretty good, so we actually decided to share. Karla went with the feature tonight, which is a pan-roasted duck. And I'm going with something really interesting. It's a squid ink rigatoni. It's good. I thought there'd be an interesting taste to squid ink. It's actually in the pasta, that's why it's kind of darker color. But what's cool is they actually bring you different wines to pair with your meals.
Morning.
No one's home. That's one of the unfortunate things about visiting the Annapolis region in the fall. Today's October 11th. It's a beautiful time to be here and it's a great time to see the fall colors. But unfortunately a lot of the National Historic Sites are closed. We're right now at Port Royal National Historic Site and it just closed yesterday. So unfortunately we won't get to see the really cool site inside here because they're actually usually have costumed interpreters, which makes it a lot more fun. But this is actually one of the earliest French settlements in all of North America.
I love staying in heritage homes. They're so cool looking.
We just arrived to Annapolis Royal, which is about an hour and a half away from the Grand Pré area. But before exploring the town, we decided to check in at the Hillsdale House Inn, which is one of the most iconic heritage properties in the area. It was built in 1859 and has been operating as an inn ever since. There's a lot of cool stuff here, but the one that stood out to me the most is the bed we're going to be sleeping in tonight. This was actually custom made for King George V, way back in the day before he was even king. As they say, fit for a king. Another cool thing about where we're staying is it's literally a 1-minute walk away from the 17-acre historic gardens, which is a premier collection in Atlantic Canada, and in 2015 was even voted as Canada's best garden of the year.
How do I look, baby?
It's almost the size of your head.
What is very cool about this garden is that not only you can find over 1,800 species and cultivars of plants, but it also showcases different gardening materials, methods, and designs that represents 400 years of history, like this replica of a 17th century Acadian house. That's it, we did the whole loop.
What was your favorite part?
It's hard, but I guess walking on the dikes is something very unique that I don't think you will find in any other garden.
And for me, it was the Victorian gardens, but I think it's just because the flowers there are still in bloom. We're now at Fort Anne National Historic Site, which is pretty much in downtown Annapolis Royal. We've been walking around the streets. It's a really beautiful town, and even though it's quite small, it actually used to be the capital of Acadia and the capital of Nova Scotia until Halifax was founded in the 1700s. And it's really a shame that the historic site is closed, because I would have loved to learn more about this place. As you can tell, there's lots of historic sites here, and it's because back in the day, everyone wanted this piece of land, and this place, Annapolis Royal, actually survived 13 attacks, more than any other place in North America. But even though we can't check it out, it at least has some of the best views we've seen since we got here.
The breakfast is delicious.
The fall colors are starting to show up. There's more reds and yellows. However, we've been told that each year it's getting warmer and warmer, so the fall colors are starting to show up later in the year.
We actually forgot our park pass back in Alberta. It's still hanging off our rear view mirror, but they told us if we take a picture of the front and the back, that they could still give us a pass. How nice.
We just drove for about half an hour from Annapolis Royal, and we're now, for the first time, at Kejimkujik National Park, or like the locals say, Keji National Park. So this national park has also been designated as a National Historic Site, and this is because every forest path, river, and lake echoes the footsteps of the Mi'kmaq people, who have been here since time immemorial.
So there's lots of hikes here in the park, but we're short on time. We only have a few hours today, and we wanted to at least do a couple hikes. So they recommended to come to Mercy River, which is 3.5 kilometers one way. But the reason why they said to come here is because it's supposed to be home to some really beautiful fall colors. Well, they definitely weren't lying. The Mercy River Trail is really beautiful for seeing the fall colors, and it's just nice having like the river alongside you the whole way. The only thing is I get a bit jealous seeing people canoeing. I wish I was doing that, but yeah, it's a great place to see the fall colors. We keep seeing these signs for turtles, so I'm assuming there's turtles in the area that might cross the road, which is the first time we've ever seen that in Canada. Another popular trail we were told to do is the Hemlock Hardwoods, because everyone here loves to see these really big trees.
So far the two trails that we chose have been pretty easy. Anyone can do them. So the last one, back and forth, is like around 6.6 kilometers. For us it took around 2 hours to finish, stopping a lot for pictures and video. And this one is 5.5 kilometers and it's a loop trail. And it says that it takes around 1 hour and a half. We haven't reached where the old hemlocks are, but so far we've learned that all the fallen trees that we see are the large-toothed aspen, which they have already reached their lifespan of 85 years. So in the future, this forest is gonna look completely different as white pine is growing instead.
Look at this. So weird. It looks like it's like leaves growing right on the tree itself.
So far, this is a very interesting walk.
Well, it's too bad the thermometer is broken, because it would have been interesting to see what the change in temperature is in the short distance we've walked since the last sign, because it says this is a transition zone where you're starting to see the young hemlocks grow taller. And what's interesting about these trees is they grow like large feathery branches at the top and form a canopy, which makes it dark and harder for everything else to grow. They also make the soil more acidic, making it harder for everything else to grow, which gives them kind of free reign of the area. I feel like this could be a good set for a Halloween movie.
We finally made it to the oldest growth, and this big guy that you see right here is the oldest hemlock in this stand, which is estimated to be around 400 years old. So this is just a proof that this kind of trees compete and outlive other trees. So it's very important that we stay on the boardwalk in order to not destroy the roots of these old trees.
Well, it was a short but sweet visit here at Keji National Park. It's definitely a place we want to come back one day. There's so many campgrounds here and so many cool places to go canoeing. I wish we had a whole week, but we got to get moving. Today we're waking up in Digby, which is just a half-hour away from Annapolis Royal. We arrived here late last night and checked into the Digby Pines Resort, a really massive resort, but we've also heard that this area is home to some of the best whale watching in North America. And even though a lot of them are closing down, we found one that remained open. So we're gonna take a 1 hour ride up to Tiverton to see if we can spot some of these giants.
I don't know if it was luck or they actually don't leave quite at 12:30. Because it's in the website, it says that they leave every...
On the half hour, so like 12:30, 1:30.
And we made it at 12:36, and literally as soon as we arrived, we went on the ferry. So I don't know if it was luck or they actually don't leave quite on time.
I think they just knew we were Mustard Canada. That's definitely the fastest ferry crossing we've ever taken. In terms of from getting on to getting over to the other side was like 5 minutes.
We really have our hopes up because he said that yesterday they saw more whales than they've seen all during the summer. have your fingers crossed that you see them, because I mean we've been riding for about 45 minutes and nothing. And we asked some fishermen if they've seen any, and they said no, so I was having my hopes down, but now I'm super happy. We got so close and then it got shy. It's not coming out. Let's get ready for the way back. It's always good to bring earmuffs or a two, because the wind can get a little bit chilly. How did you like it?
It was good. We saw about 6 to 8 whales farther down, and then another 2 on our way back. So can't complain.
Well, we're so happy that we saw some whales and we're back in Digby to try those famous scallops that we've been reading so much about.
Yeah, and that's also the end of this video, so we hope we inspired you to do your own Annapolis road trip here in Nova Scotia. We came here for the fall color, so that's why we're here kind of at the late in their season. But just so you know, it seems like things do start to close up after Thanksgiving weekend. We weren't able to visit some historic sites. We weren't able to rent kayaks for the national park. So things do close down, but it's still a beautiful time to visit. But otherwise you'll want to come a bit earlier. But as you can see, lots of beautiful fishing villages, lots of cool scenery, lots of historic sites, so we can definitely recommend. And if you want more tips, just visit our website and I'll post a link to the article below.
And of course, we love hearing from you, so leave your comments down below. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Yeah, I didn't get scared.
Everyone else is like, what the hell? Mexicans.
Did I get scared even a little?
No.
You knew I was there?
I think I heard you laughing first.
I'm awful at scaring him.